What's up, people of the internet? My name is Damocles. We've got some new card reveals today, including the craziest blue and green cards that we have ever seen revealed for artifacts so far. So stay tuned. Alright, so we got a bunch of new card reveals today, including two really crazy ones, but I kind of want to save those for last. So first off, we're going to talk about the new cycle. For those of you who don't know what a cycle is when you create the same type of card in each color. It comes from Magic the Gathering. So you might have a creature in every color or a spell in every color, and they're all like the same mana, or they all have the same theme. Like they might all have a dragon, a dragon in each color. So we have a new cycle in artifact. Each color is getting their own banner, which is a 3-cost improvement. We've already seen Path of the Cunning, the black improvement card, but to round out the cycle, the Play Artifact Twitter has released the other 3. Starting things off, we have the Path of the Wise, the blue 3-cost improvement that reads, after you play a blue card, deal 1 piercing damage to a random enemy. So first off, this is not a super amazing card. That's not that surprising because Path of the Cunning isn't that powerful either. Path of the Wise, at most you're probably looking at 4 to 8 damage over the course of a game. And while 4 to 8 damage is kind of decent, not bad, the issue is it's random. So casting a spell and then having the 1 ping damage go into the axe who's at full health isn't really going to help you much, right? It's just not that strong of an effect. However, I could see this card fitting into a chain gun style deck that's all about playing lots and lots of very cheap spells. This could be comboed well with cards like Zeus or Outworld Devourer or Crystal Maiden. The idea is you get these mana refund abilities or perhaps even card duplication abilities from Ogre Magi, and you just dump a bunch of cards from your hand and sort of have all these crazy effects that hopefully wipe the board. Next up is Path of the Bold and Red, a 3-cost improvement that reads, after you play a red card, modify a random ally with +1 attack. The problem, of course, is that everything is random, so you could get this on a creep, which could get, one shot by another hero, or even worst case scenario, you could get this on a basic 2/4 creep, which gets buffed up to a 3/4 creep, and then it's up against their melee creep, and then 2 smack into each other, and neither one of them killed each other because your 3 attack isn't going to kill their 4 health. And then next turn they smack into each other again and they kill each other, meaning that attack was wasted. However, I might be able to see mileage out of this in a red deck that basically only has heroes. So that increases the chance that the plus attack is going to hit one of your heroes, which of course you want to have with as much attack as possible. Next up, we have Path of the Dreamer in green. Once again, 3-cost improvement that reads, after you play a green card, give your tower +3 regeneration until end of round. Now, at the moment, I think this is the only known effect that can heal your tower. So that alone might make it worth playing, simply because, nothing else in the game that we know of has this effect. And this card makes me wonder, can you actually heal a tower above 40 health? Can you heal an ancient above 80 health? I guess this is a question that we will have answered once we get into the game coming later this October. The other nice thing about this card is that it's the only one of the 4 that doesn't have a random effect. So with this card, you have consistent, reliable effects, and between that and the sort of unique ability on this card, I think this might actually be the strongest of the 4. But that being said, I don't really think these cards exist to be played. Obviously, people are going to play them, but let's take a step back and think about this from the perspective of a game designer. When you're designing the game, you need to teach people the game. You need to teach them the rules, the mechanics, how cards work, and of course the theme, the world, the flavor. And that's why cards like these are so valuable. Sure, they're kind of weak, but their effects are very simple, their effects are very straightforward, and they do an excellent job of showing you, the player, what each color is about. This isn't about teaching you the mechanics of the game, this is about teaching you the flavor of the game. What makes black different from green? Because a new player who's just coming into Artifact for the first time, they're gonna have no idea. So I think cards like these give you something to grab onto and be like, okay, I get it. Green is defensive, they heal. Red likes big creatures. Black likes to destroy towers, they're really aggressive. And blue likes spells and direct damage. So these cards kind of suck. I don't think we're going to see them very often outside of draft, but I still appreciate that they're in the game because they're just cool, man. They look cool, they fit the flavor, and I just dig that. I think that makes them worthwhile in Artifact. Next up, we have Seraphim Shield, a 13 cost gold item that reads, equipped hero has +2 armor, all units have -2 attack. Now, all units have -2 attack means that applies to every single unit in your lane, both your units and their units. That means creep, basic melee creep, are doing 0 damage. So this card is actually phenomenal at slowing down damage and making sure that your tower can survive into the late game. In fact, paired with Path of the Dreamer, I could see this card potentially allowing you to heal up your tower turn after turn after turn with that extra regeneration and eventually recovering from a heavily damaged position. Plus, you can put this on a hero and that's going to create a 4 damage swing in your favor. You're going to be blocking 2 plus the -2 attack means that's effectively +4 block on your hero alone. So you can put this on, you know, Crystal Maiden and survive a hit from an axe, because axe is only going to be dealing 5 damage and 2 of that damage is going to be blocked, meaning 3 damage is coming through to Crystal Maiden. So I think this is going to be really, really popular in decks that want to pump the brakes, slow things down, stall things out, because not only does it stop the hero in front of you, the unit in front of you, but it just goes so wide. I think this is going to be really, really popular on decks that want to slow things down, stall things out, because the -2 attack is going to do wonders towards helping you survive to the late game. Plus, I could see this pairing really, really well with decks that don't like to go wide and instead go tall with really, really massive creep. And trust me, we have a really, really massive creep to show off later. Alternatively, if you're running a spell heavy deck, then you don't really care about the -2 attack either. I mean, when Zeus costs Thunder God's Wrath, does he care if he's at -2 attack? No. What about Echo Slam? What about Annihilation? I mean, no, those cards will be effective regardless of how high their attack is, so you may as well debuff attack as much as possible so that you can survive and cast those spells. So this card, super, super powerful, very unique. I think it will be a game-changing card for a lot of decks. Next up, we have a truly flashy blue spell, Bolt of Damocles. This is when Zeus is not fucking around anymore. At least that looks like it's Zeus in the portrait. This is a 10 cost blue spell that reads, deal 20 damage to the enemy tower. This is absolutely a game-winning card. Now, it's not going to do much towards destroying an ancient, but destroying a tower, absolutely 100%. This is going to be extremely effective. The crazy thing about this card is that it's so hard to predict. I mean, you don't know if the enemy's going to be running it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. So you can be sitting pretty. You can have a nice wall of creatures, and Blue's just like, yo, I don't care about your creep. You can have a million creep. I don't give a fuck. Bolt of Damocles, 20 damage to the face, and you go down. The issue is 10 mana is a lot. It's very rare that I see games last to 10 mana. Usually they're done by like 8 or 9, 10 rarely. So you really have to have a stall deck with cards like Seraphim Shield in order to get to 10 mana. But outside of that, I think it's got a lot of potential. Put maybe 1 of these or 2 max. 3 is really excessive. You don't want 3 cards clogging up your hand with 10 mana. That is insane. But I could see 1 or 2 as a late game finisher just to give you that little bit of extra reach and push you over the edge towards that victory. And last but certainly not least, we have the Thunderhide Alpha. This is a green creep that costs 9 mana and has 25 stats. This thing is flippin' huge. It's massive. This is by far the biggest unit that we have seen so far. The downside of it, of course, is that it has no special effects, no abilities. So you kind of have to wonder who would win, one Thunderhide pack or one zombie boy. Well, eventually the Thunderhide Alpha will win, but one single relentless zombie can completely stall out this card for 2 full turns. And it's going to be virtually impossible to destroy without some sort of card like Slay or Coup de Grace. But I mean, with a body like that, I mean, you can't really argue with that at all. The thing is huge. So I could see this pairing exceptionally well with cards that remove things from in front of this unit. Cards like Primal Roar, Coup de Grace, really just anything that gets it out of the way, because if you can get this thing to smack into an enemy tower, then you're gonna start winning games pretty handily. Now we can make a really interesting comparison between this card and Thunderhide Pack. Thunderhide Pack costs 1 mana less and has almost half as many stats, but it has Siege. So that means clearly that game developers are putting a lot of value on Siege. The idea with the Thunderhide Pack is that even if this does get blocked, either it's going to do a massive amount of damage to the unit blocking it, and it's also going to hit the tower anyways, or it just goes straight through to the tower and does the full damage. With Thunderhide Alpha, missing out on that siege is really gonna sting. That's the downside of the card. I mean, a Rix can block this card until the end of time. Sure, it's going to feed a lot of gold, but I mean, if you have Rix in your deck, you can just plop this in front of the Thunderhide Alpha every single turn, and eventually Rix is going to kill that creep. So while it's very tempting to choose this card over the Thunderhide Pack because it's just so huge, I think that sometimes it might be actually better to go for the Siege, because Siege is just reliable. Nope, I'm lying. I think I'm going to go for the Thunderhide Alpha every single time because it's so huge. It's so huge. It's so cool. Who cares about the siege, man? I don't care about the siege. Fuck the siege. I want to put down a 25-25 unit and smack into... I don't even care. Even if I crush a creep, that creep is going to fucking die 100%. So, yeah, I'm going to play this card over the Thunderhide Pack because it's just too cool. How could you possibly not play this card in your green deck? So those are all of my card reveals for today. Let me know your thoughts. Which is your favorite? Do you think that the path of the cards can be salvaged? Are they usable in any decks? And what do you think about our huge Thunderhide Alpha? Is this card actually crappy because it doesn't have any siege, or is this thing as powerful as it looks? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Dabacab out.